Hello, my name is Russell, and in this video, I will be taking a look at some of the games I'm most excited about checking out at the UK Games Expo. Now, just a disclaimer, this is not an exhaustive list because I've been mainly using Board Game Geek's preview of the UK Games Expo Geek List, but I've also been receiving some marketing materials from various publishers too. I still hope there'll be some surprises for me at the show to check out, and if you think I've missed anything or need to check something out, please drop a comment below. That being said, let's get stuck right in. First up is a twofer because these two games are both by the same publisher, Sashi and Sashi. They are actually a Japanese husband and wife team. Sashi is the designer of the games, and Takarai Takako is the artist and illustrator and responsible for that very distinct, charming art style that you'll find in all of their games. They have produced so many great games like Remember Our Trip, Let's Make a Bus Route, and Come Sail Away, among many more. The first game that they're releasing is Shall We Dance, and this is a numbered card game where you have a deck of cards made up of different suits/colors, and in each of those suits there are an equal number of male and female partner cards. In the game, you're trying to create matching cards by pairing up a male and a female card in the same suit, and you'll do that by playing cards in front of you on your turn. If after playing, then you create a matching pair, then that's some points for you at the end of the game. If after playing, however, you create an unmatched pair, and somebody around the table has the opposite gender unmatched pair also, then you can whisk that person away to create a point scoring pair for yourself, giving the other player a few points as compensation. It seems like it's a very straightforward concept. I hope I will be enjoying this one too. The other game they're releasing is called Railway Porters, and surprisingly involves you playing as railway porters in the earlier 20th century. Your goal is to successfully transport luggage in the form of dice to the railway platform to satisfy the customers. The dice represent the luggage, and if you ever drop someone's luggage, then you'll lose some points. However, the key mechanism in this game revolves around decisions during each round where you'll be asked whether you want to continue to try and score more points or to bank the points you've currently got and stop. However, if you stop, your dice will be given to the other players, giving them more chance to score, but also potentially more chances to fail as well. So it's a big decision. Both of these games have that charming style, and I can't wait to check them both out. Tally Up is the newest game from the designer of Flip 7, which we all know is a big hit. And would you know it, it's another push your luck game, my favorite. In this game, you'll be rolling dice to score points. And while everybody starts each player's turn in and has the potential to score points in that player's turn, the key decision point in this game will be when to dip out and bank the points you've scored, and when to stay in and gamble for more, a bit like Ink and Gold and Diamond. There is, however, an interesting decision space because the dice that you use have different risk levels. The higher the risk, the more stars that show up on that dice. And if you should ever roll 2 or more stars during a turn, that any player who's still in that point goes bust. It is the player's decision how many dice and which dice to roll, so it can be risky and you've really got to play the players, it seems like. But in a nice quirky twist, players that are out still have a chance to score bonus if 3 or more stars are rolled during a turn. At that point, they can shout tally ho, and they can score a bonus, as will everybody else who's still in. I cannot wait to see if this lives up to the Flip 7 potential, so we'll be checking that out at the show. I love a good collaboration, as I'm sure you do as well, and in modern board gaming, they don't get much bigger than Carcassonne and Labyrinth, who have combined forces to make a new game called Carcassonne Labyrinth. This game takes 2 of those games' key components of tile placement and tile shifting to create something unique. Like in Labyrinth, there is a board in the center of the table, and each turn you'll take a tile from your stack and slide it into the board, creating a path, or in this case roads, that you hope will take you to a symbol that's present on the top of your stack. If you do, you get a nice bonus. The tile that you push out now gets added to your own personal city, where you place it a bit like the game Carcassonne, where you're hoping to score points by completing certain features like roads and cities. It's such a simple but cool concept, and I really hope it's as good as it sounds. I will let you know when I've played it. Gaudi is a game based on the life of the visionary artist and architect, and it intrigues me greatly, not only because it utilizes these quirky little shaped tiles under the principle of trencadís, a Catalan word meaning a lot of little broken things, but also for its unusual scoring mechanism. You see, you'll only score for your 2 lowest of the 3 pillars of the game's scoring, which represent elements of Gaudi's life: religion, nature, and Catalonia. Of course, the game looks gorgeous, and it seems to have incorporated many design choices that fit well given the many examples of the artist's work. But also, I've been an admirer of the publisher De Vere for years now, making many good, solid, chunky Euro-style games, so I hope this one also lives up to the potential. As is almost always the case at a big expo, there does seem to be a little bit of a trend, even if it is just 2 games, and this year's UK Games Expo is no exception. This year, slot machines. First up is Jackpot Set the Reel, published by Dranda Games. In this game, you'll be building out the slot machine each round in front of you in a 3x3 grid using cards from your hand. You'll collect rewards based on the layout, and there are elements of deck building as well as card passing. However, the tricky thing about this game is that you'll never shuffle your deck. Instead, you'll need to rely on clever card manipulation in order to improve your machine. The other game published by Hobby Japan is called Strange Slot Simulator. In this game, you'll have several machines represented by decks of cards in the middle of the table. Your goal is to try and figure out how they work. Each round is real time, so you'll want to grab a deck as quickly as you can and try and play it through it as much as you can to figure out the rules of said machines. It's an interesting twist on a logic deduction game, a genre that hasn't really been that innovative lately, so it'll be really curious to see which of these games is best. Now, this game is one I actually already have, but I still think it's a game that will be a big hit at the show. It's called Unmatched Adventures, and it's based on a huge franchise called, you might have heard of it, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Growing up, I watched this so much, and my boy Raphael was my character of choice. The art style looks phenomenal, and it takes the core concept of Unmatched, which is a skirmish game. Each character has a unique deck of 30 cards, and in the game you'll be trying to battle your opponent, moving around a board, trying to whittle their health down to 0. However, Unmatched Adventures is a sort of spin-off which you can combine with any other game in the franchise, and in this game you'll be facing off against the boss together with your friends. So you'll have not only the boss to fight, but also some minions too. This box set includes various characters from the show you'll know and love, so I can't wait to see how this goes at the show. Paverson Games have a library that does skew a bit heavier, including games like Luthier, where you're trying to craft musical instruments, Class of '89, where you're coming up with the best possible high school yearbook, also Distilled, a game about crafting lovely, delicious spirits. Ringyo is set in feudal Japan and sees you utilizing and training samurai workers in order to do forestry work. Each player starts with their own personal player board, which is full of old forest growth, but it's up to the player to decide when to harvest that resource and when to plant new trees, study them, or even build buildings. However, the key thing here is about balance. If you harvest too much wood, you'll leave your province susceptible to flooding and destruction, but if you don't harvest enough, then you won't be able to build the castles and farms that your lord demands. The game is illustrated by the incredibly talented Kwanchai Maria, so even though it is a heavier game, I expect it'll take a little bit longer because I'll be checking out all that gorgeous artwork. Finally, from publisher Bowden Games, along with veterans from titles including Everdell and Kinfire Chronicles, comes a new narrative cooperative campaign game called Song of the Wild King. Like some of the other best games out there, this one is set in a world of anthropomorphic creatures and includes a mysterious magic system known as Pitchcraft. Not much more has been revealed about the game, but I do know that it involves various chapters that culminate in boss battles and will allow you to unlock new characters and progress options. The story, is, from what I know, also involves a missing mentor and a mysterious force that's turning good critters bad. And of course, with artists like Andrew Bosley and Jackie Davis attached, we can be sure that the game will look as charming as it hopefully plays. And that is it for this video. I hope you found this useful. Like I said at the top, if you feel like I've missed anything or you should absolutely check out, please drop a comment below. And if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. Take care and see you soon.